Hey everybody, Zach here for High Voltage Guitars, and today we're talking about one of my favorite amps in the entire world, the Two-Rock Studio Signature. In this video, we're going to talk about what this amp is, what it sounds like, who it's for, who it's not for, and give you some playing examples. So what is the Two-Rock Studio Signature? This is a more stripped down, simplified version of some of the bigger Two-Rock amp offerings. I kind of think of it as the little brother to the classic Reverb Signature. You have a simplified control layout, and it's really straightforward and really easy to dial in a great tone. This thing is 35 watts, powered by two 5881s. It has a 12-inch speaker in the combo configuration. You can also get it in a head. And despite being a smaller amp, this thing sounds absolutely huge. The control layout on this amp is pretty straightforward as well. You have your input gain, your three voicing switches for bright, mid, and deep, 3-band EQ, reverb, return, your master volume, your presence. On the back of the amp, you have your reverb send, as well as the gain structure switch, a passive effects loop, and your speaker outs. It is a really straightforward, easy to use amp that really lets you dial in a tone very quickly. A lot of people ask, is this thing lesser than some of the bigger amps? And the answer is no. Despite being smaller and more simplified, the construction is exactly the same. You're getting the same hands building the same amp with the same components to the same level of quality as you are any other Two-Rock product. A lot of people kind of voice their concerns thinking that this thing isn't going to be as good as some of the bigger amps, and it 100% is. It's just smaller and more simple. And I really like that. I have one of these amps. I use it at home all the time. Honestly, it's probably the amp I play the most, and I absolutely adore it. It eats pedals for breakfast. It's incredible how well it interacts with pedals, and it's just a really fun amp to play. So what is the tone of the Two-Rock Studio Signature? If you're familiar with the classic Reverb, then you should be pretty familiar with this. But that amp is like the quintessential Two-Rock sound. And so is this, just lower wattage. This amp has a really powerful, punchy, clean sound that you can really quickly and easily dial in to get almost any classic, iconic clean sound with just flipping these switches or adjusting the knobs. The gain structure switch on the back lets you go from the California style clean mode in the bottom position. In the top position, you have the Two-Rock preamp voicing, and in the middle is the Matt Schofield mod, which has a little bit more push. Admittedly, you don't hear that as much until you really turn the amp up, but when you do, it's very obvious and you can really feel it under your fingers as you play this amp. The switches on the amp, the bright, the mid, and the deep, do exactly what you hope they do, as do all the controls. The bright switch adds a little bit of high-end sparkle. The mid lets your mids punch through and you cut through more of the mix. And the deep switch on this amp rounds out the low end. So if you're using something with single coils, you can have a bit of a fuller low end. At 35 watts, this amp is pretty dang loud. It really punches well above its weight as far as how powerful it is. One of my favorite things about it is how interactive the master volume is with the input gain. You can dime the input gain and get a little bit of breakup, but it's not overtly hairy. But as you turn that master volume up and you let those power tubes really start to cook, then you start getting some of that power tube saturation, and this amp really comes to life. It's responsive to your guitar's controls, and like I said, it does really well with pedals, especially if you like to run overdrives or fuzzes. They just blend seamlessly with the voicing of this amp, and it's so much fun to play. Now, who is this amp for? If you like straightforward, easy to use amps and want that Two-Rock voice, that Two-Rock power, and the feel of playing a Two-Rock, then this is the one to look at. Like I said, 35 watts, really powerful, but this is a pretty small combo. So you can throw this in the back of the car, in the back of the truck, in the back of the van, or whatever, and haul it to any gig. And if you throw a mic on it, there's really not a gig this thing can't handle volume-wise because it's pretty dang loud. We here at High Voltage and Mythos Pedals use these at trade shows, and it's shocking at how well they fill the room despite being so small. I absolutely love this thing, if you can't tell. Now, who is this amp not for? If you like a lot of breakup, if you like to have more gain on tap or channel switching, this is not the amp for you. This has a much more straightforward plug in, crank it up and play sort of thing, and not all the bells and whistles. If you want those sort of things, then I would look at something like the Bloomfield Drive or the TS1. But to that end, if you need a lot of input gain, you need a lot of breakup, then I would just look elsewhere. But really, for everybody else, this is a great amp to choose. Okay, now I'm gonna grab some guitars and give you some playing examples. I'm gonna run through some single coils, some P90s, throw a pedal on the floor so you can really hear just what the Studio Sig can do. It's one of my favorite amps, so let's get into it. Okay, everybody, I grabbed this Novo Idris, a fantastic 3 single coil style guitar, plugged it into the Studio Sig. I have it in the cleanest gain structure mode, and it sounds like this. All right, for some more push sounds, I've dimed the input gain, put it in the Matt Schofield mod, the middle mode of the gain structure switch, clicked on the mid boost. Let's see just what this thing can do with this Castedosa 3511 Lobo. Okay, last but not least, I grabbed this 55 Hot Mod reissue that we have here in the shop on consignment, plugged in the Vimram Jan Ray, and ran that into the Studio Sig. It sounds like this. All right, guys, so I hope you better understand just what the Two-Rock Studio Signature amp is all about. Like I said, this is one of my favorite amps, and I play mine all the time. I absolutely adore it. No matter what kind of guitar or pedal or whatever I'm plugging into it, it just sounds right. And I really love using it at home or cranked up here at the shop, or if I happen to go to a gig. If you want to learn more about this amp, go to highvoltageguitars.com or give us a call and we'd be happy to walk you through any of the specs that you're curious about. We're getting new amps from Two-Rock all the time, so if you don't see one in stock, just hang in there, sign up for the newsletter, and we'll be sure to let you know when the next batch is coming. Or if you want to custom order your own Two-Rock Studio Signature amp, we can do that. You can pick a Tolex, grill cloth cover, and make the amp truly your own. These are some of the best amps in the world. I'm so excited to have them here at the shop. And if you have any questions, just let us know. We'll be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.